Paddy that isn't dried properly results in loss of quality and quantity of the grain. In this video, you will learn how to correctly dry your grain to help you reduce losses. First, let us look at why correct drying of paddy is so important. Then, we will offer some suggestions on optimum drying before we discuss the methods that would suit you best when it comes to drying grain. So why is it so important to dry paddy correctly? Rice is usually harvested at a grain moisture content between 24 and 26%. Delays in drying will damage your grain, reducing the quality and the quantity of that batch. If this occurs, you may notice yellowing or discoloration of the grain caused by mold development and heat buildup from respiration. Reduced milling yields because of cracked grain caused by high temperatures and rewetting of the grain. Loss of germination and vigor from grain respiration, mold and insect activities, or from exposure of grains to temperatures above 42 degrees Celsius. Damage caused by insects which are more active at higher moisture content levels. Here are some tips that can help you dry your grain more effectively and avoid this damage. You should dry paddy immediately after harvest, choosing the appropriate moisture content. For storage up to 2 weeks, dry grain to 18% moisture content. If you are drying paddy for milling, then dry to 14%. Drying to a lower moisture content reduces weight and milling yield. If you plan to store the grain for 8 to 12 months, dry to 13% or less. For long-term storage exceeding 1 year, dry to 9% moisture content. Always clean the grains before drying to avoid uneven drying and wet spots. Do not mix grain with different moisture content as this will cause the grain to crack. Always monitor grain temperature and moisture content to prevent excess temperatures and over-drying. Sun drying is the most popular drying method because of its low cost and ability to dry small batches of grain. It is labor-intensive, however, and control of grain temperature can be difficult. Paddy with moisture content below 18% can be slowly dried in storage bins using aeration with slightly preheated air of about 3 to 6 degrees Kelvin above ambient temperature. There are different capacity levels depending on the storage structure, so drying can take days or weeks depending on grain batch size. In-store drying produces good quality dried grain, uses low energy, and is more convenient to use. However, the drying time is long. Now, let us look at 3 types of heated air dryers. Farmers, contractors, and small rice mills regularly use a fixed bed batch dryer. The dryer's capacity ranges from 1 to 10 tons per batch with a drying time of 6 to 8 hours. The fixed bed batch dryer is simple to operate and cheap, with local versions available. However, drying may be uneven and it is labor-intensive. The recirculating batch dryer is best suited for rice mills and cooperatives. The dryer's capacity is 4 to 10 tons per batch. Drying time varies from 6 to 8 hours. The recirculating batch dryer results in even drying and is affordable. Its automatic operation, however, its mechanical components are subject to wear and tear. The continuous flow dryer is used by large commercial facilities. Its capacity is approximately 10 tons per hour. This dryer has a high capacity and automatic operation, but is capital intensive and requires large volumes of grain. Now, are you ready to dry your grain with a drying system that suits you best? Always remember to regularly monitor your grain temperature and moisture content for optimum results.